Yeah, Marlene, good
Hi,
to
how are you?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Doing well as well. Thanks for joining me on this live stream.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's great to finally be able to have a bit of a chat and everything. So I guess because it's Youth Month, we might as well start talking about that. So what have you kind of been doing as an organisation this Youth Month?
Pardon?
I said, what have you been doing as an organisation to celebrate Youth Month?
Um, yeah, we've been busy with different projects,
Yeah.
and now we're from a meeting where we are planning the ethnic GBV conversation, whereby we include people who are not from the townships, but people who are also from big cities that are able to fund such project, and they feel like coming to townships. And we also want to bring the conversation of gender-based violence to them, because most of them, they can't come to our townships, but they are the people who can assist our organizations that are on the ground.
Yeah, I completely understand. So what kind of prompted you both to start Langa for Men?
What
What
say again?
prompted, why did you start Langa for Men?
Okay. I'm from Langa,
Mm-hmm.
and Langa is the first black township in the Western Cape, and there are many politics that are around Langa and different cultures. Langa is diverse,
Mm-hmm.
and we find out that most people, they are cultural. And I grew up under a violent family, and it was not something new when I was seeing it in our streets, but it was something that was from home where I
Mm-hmm.
was and where I grew up. It was already, my mother was abused, and I met Sia after 3 years. I think we've left high school, and Sia wanted to unify Langa through young boys by creating a camp. He wanted to eradicate gangsterism through a program that will reprogram the minds of young people, more especially boy child. In our communities, a boy child is neglected. A boy child is rejected in many things, doesn't have a voice. So when I met him, he had this plan of unifying young boys of Langa, as Langa is divided into two. The people who are from the Eastern Cape and Cape Townians, people who are born from Cape Town, are doing ceremonies in Cape Town. So an idea came in one of our sessions while we've attended a business seminar, because there were many questions when we were doing our programs. Why are we always telling a girl child to walk fast at night,
Yeah,
not to
exactly.
wear short sleeves? And why are we always preaching on the victims? What are we saying
Mm.
to young boys, to men who are perpetrators? Are we doing stuff to include them in the conversation of gender-based violence? So we had to really look at our ways of fighting gender-based violence. We've been seeing women picketing, marching, crying, doing everything to stop gender-based violence. But what are we doing to drive men into the conversation of gender-based violence? So an idea came that we should just march around Langa and say, here we are as young boys, as men. We are saying, let's just say, let's stop gender-based violence and engage even more, as we are called hashtag Langa For Men. It was just a one-day campaign, and we didn't know that it will turn into a bigger thing, that many great minds will be interested in sustaining, knowing that they also grew up in the same way Sia and myself grew up, and they want to do change, but they do not know where to start. So our baby was born in that way.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I think it's really great as young people being able to connect with other young people. Because a lot of what I've been seeing when kind of looking into abuse and how it affects people is that a lot of young people feel like they're not included in these conversations, or that they're not really being engaged with. So I think it's really great to be able to, connect to these young people and really start making a difference for them, and being able to make a difference in society as well. But yeah, that's really, really great. So what kind of like activities do you do with these young people and children that you connect with?
Okay, the first activity we do is to create comfortability with them so that they can be able to trust us. So we build trust through a healing session. We are all the product of untold stories from different corners. Others are from loving and caring families. Others are from broken families as a result of a broken society. So we make sure that in whatever that we do, we acknowledge that there's diversity. We acknowledge that we have different backgrounds, and how can we come together as different colors and paint one picture. So we bring them and start with healing sessions. Whatever that broke you, but you must be able to come into a comfortable space. So we create that comfortable space, and we also have victims sessions whereby we cry, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and we create such space. We go to hikings. Some people, they are not free in talking in a classroom structure or a boardroom structure, but if they are busy doing something, it helps them to be able to cough out. So we also go on hiking and we connect with nature. When you are doing something while you're climbing the mountain, you understand that whatever that I'm doing on this mountain, but I need to be on top of the mountain in whatever problems that we are facing in tribulations. But you understand that for you to gain your victory, you need to fight, you need to battle, and you need to understand where you are, and you need to understand that you need help. So we do those sessions up on the mountain, and we visit schools as well. We engage on gender-based violence, and our teachers, they understand. Some of them, they understand the curriculum, more especially in life orientations and life skills, that it equip us about gender-based violence, but they do not go deeper. So by going to schools as young people and going to young people, they understand us better because they relate. We make sure that we look at the relating news that are trending, and when we go to them, we make sure that the content will be relating to them and they are comfortable with us as young people in terms of sharing about where they are from, their backgrounds and their current lives, and around gender-based violence. And we host bigger sessions where we invite different panelists, professional opinions. We must be able to also allow professional opinions to be part of the gender-based violence conversation, so we can be able to know where to go to if we face a certain situation around gender-based violence. We also donate sanitary towels and teach men about menstruation. That it is not a taboo, it's nature. And for them to be free, we all have to be in the same spirit and in one for government to acknowledge and to see that being given some free sanitary towels in South Africa is a need. And if we all go and in one spirit, one day it will be free, just like condoms. So that's what we are preaching on a male child as well. And we donate pepper sprays to higher institutions and different institutions, not only church and high schools, universities. We do these kind of talks like almost every day in different places with different individuals.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I never
And
really realized the extent of the work.
the last thing, we also have a soup kitchen. We formed the soup kitchen before COVID-19. And then during COVID-19, our soup kitchen was opened in 2019. Why we opened the soup kitchen? Some of our fellow participants, they are coming from homes that do not have food on the table. And as a result, they are their mothers are abusing their fathers emotionally, and as a response, their fathers are also answering with physical abuse. So there are a lot of things that are happening in school. So to also engage with parents, we've opened a soup kitchen in the biggest informal settlements around Ulanga, where we're from. So our soup kitchen in Joslovo, it is the first and the biggest soup kitchen in Joslovo. And it is not only a soup kitchen, but also a center for information. So it also assists us to speak with these young boys who and volunteer in our soup kitchen, and other people when they come and volunteer in our soup kitchen. It gives us that platform of talking that, you know, I didn't eat for 2 days because of this, while they are busy assisting people. And we find ourselves through helping others, and we engage with our older people in the soup kitchen. Our work is not only based on young people, but also it is based on older people as well. We have to also engage with the older generation because they are broken, and they were broken by the system. And for us to assist them in the conversation of gender-based violence, we need to bring them closer by soup kitchens. We know that most of our parents are found in taverns, they are found in soup kitchens, always hustling on the table. So these are some of the things that we are doing to engage with our people as well. And we are part of a project with Too Much Wi-Fi, which we wake up in the morning every Tuesday and do cleanups around Langa, and on Saturdays in in different communities. So it is run by young boys and men as well. We are doing everything we can that gives us a platform of reaching out to different genders, and more especially a boy child. We must recycle the people that are called trash. We must bring closer the people that are called dogs, so that they can also be reprogrammed. The perpetrators, they need to be programmed. We can't have perpetrators who keeps on going and breaking more people and recruiting more perpetrators. We can't keep on preaching on the victims. Let's also bring along the perpetrators.
Yeah, that's a really important message there about reaching out to the perpetrators and things like that, and really, really focusing on helping young children and young people. Because something that I recently found out is that when a lot of kids come forward to their parents about abuse and things like that, especially when they're abused by somebody that their parents know, is that they don't actually get a lot of support from their parents. They end up staying in that kind of abusive situation. And even when it's kind of taken to the authorities, not much else kind of happens. So I think it's really important to get that message across of being on the side of the perpetrators, but also thinking about that, you know, abusers can be anyone, and it can also be the people closest to us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them down below. But seeing as it's also Pride Month, how have you kind of been raising awareness or doing any sort of events for that? Or, you know, how does that kind of also link in with the work that you do in general?
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, it was a bit convoluted, to be fair, but I was just saying that, like, as it's Pride Month, have you been doing any work focusing on like the LGBT community, or is there kind of anything else to that?
June is known as the Youth Month
Mm-hmm.
here in South Africa, as well as the Pride Month.
Yeah.
May is known for Africa Month. So our biggest session we've done this year, it was a session whereby the theme was culture versus LGBTQI plus community.
Mm-hmm.
we can't run away that queers are excluded in many things in South Africa. As we say that queers are, South Africa we have the most accepting constitution, but we are lying because in our church spaces, in schools, around our communities, they're excluded. So we did that event whereby we had to invite different people from church, cultural people, traditionalists, as well as sangomas, teachers, the community at large. We invited them to discuss the problems that queers are facing, and more especially things that are coming from our culture. We invited cultural experts as well, because mostly they use it as a shield and as also as a weapon to help queer people that culture doesn't allow this and that. So we invited cultural people, and we did work around around queers. So the event was successfully. We saw a big number of people who participated, and traditional healers that are also from the community. They came in to put their opinions and facts around the around the conversation as well. So we are an accepting organization. We accept any gender, we accept any sexuality, and we work towards changing our communities so that they can be able to understand that we are an organization that respect and fight for humanity. In the past, we've got many negative criticism whereby they were saying that we're an organization that was for queers, and it was because of culture. People who do not want to lose powers that they have, more especially men. They're like, no, your organization is more friendly to queers than to men. Because when you want to give men a healing space, you have to break them. You have to make them to be vulnerable to their feelings, which is something that doesn't come cheap. It comes costly.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But yeah, this has been a really great live stream. And I'd just like to say thanks for joining me today, and thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you. Bye.
So much. Bye.